Now at 9, the Cherokee County Attorney's Office releases its criminal liability report about a standoff in Baxter Springs that killed 3 people. Plus, Pitt State launches a new program aimed at helping students facing obstacles. And
today is the kickoff of the Jomo Pride Fest. We'll give you a look into what is sure to be one of the most colorful days of the year coming up.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Elise Noe. Prosecutors say they will not seek charges on a Joplin police sniper who shot and killed a 2-year-old girl during a standoff in Baxter Springs, Kansas last year. The hostage situation happened last year in March and also claimed the lives of 2 adults. Police say Eli Crawford shot and killed 27-year-old Taylor Shute before going back inside with 2-year-old Cleslin Crawford. When police later entered the home, they found both Eli and Cleslin Crawford dead. It was determined that Cleslin Crawford was killed by a bullet fired by a police sniper. And the Cherokee County Attorney's Office has now completed its criminal liability review and determined the fatal shot fired was not reckless, so the sniper will not be charged. A locomotive fire on a BNSF train served as a training moment for a Southwest Missouri fire district. Firefighters got the call around 7 this morning about a fire on a 2-mile-long coal train. Chris Bryant spoke with the fire chief about the rarity of this happening.
That fire was located here near Farm Road 170 and Railway Mile Marker 217. When firefighters arrived, the tail engine had smoke coming from the top.
But to have the engine on fire is not something you see every day.
While every fire is different, this one provides a unique learning opportunity.
These guys are getting their life experience, really. I've been the fire chief for 30 years. I don't think I've ever been on a train car fire, engine fire.
But even with a new experience, previous training comes into play.
It's just no different than a car fire, other than it's hauling 6,000 gallons of fuel, and it's a monstrous beast. And trying to get water inside the metal is difficult.
While working each fire can provide valuable training, having the opportunity to go back and watch it over has some added value.
I set up my camera as soon as I got here. So I have 22 minutes of video of sitting on the tracks, shooting the scene. We'll be able to go back and talk about the different aspects as a training value. Really is priceless.
BNSF cleared the scene a little after noon on Friday. The cause of the fire is still under investigation.
Chief Meteorologist Doug Hetty joins us with a first look at weather.
Well, it definitely turned out to be a pretty good day for us today once we got the rain out of here, which we needed. So we definitely needed a little bit of rain. Some areas got more than a little bit. 87 was our high, 85 is our average high. Temperature is really good right now. We're mainly sitting low to mid 70s. We're going to drop back upper 50s later on tonight. Still kind of hazy out there, but the smoke is improving just a little bit, so that will dissipate as we go through the weekend, which is also good news. Clear skies right now. There's not a whole bunch going on across the Central Plains, so it's going to be fairly quiet as we go through the overnight hours for us tonight, and then we are going to get some additional rain chances in here by the time we head into early next week. So of course, here in a bit, we're going to look at our rain chances and the weekend forecast all coming up here in just a bit.
Thanks, Doug. Journey Z, a nonprofit organization in Joplin, hosted an event today called the Send Project at Joplin Avenue Coffee Company. The Send Project is oriented around sending others out to share the gospel and focuses on making a meaningful impact on the community. Pitt State is starting a new program to help students adjust to campus life. The program, Spark Will, is centered around students who are balancing parenting while in school, students who have been in foster care, and students who are experiencing food or housing insecurity or other barriers that may affect their academic pursuits. KOAM's Fernanda Silva has the story.
Sarah Flasner is a transfer student at Pitt State. She had to take a mental health break after her first 3 years in college and wishes she had had support at the first university she attended.
It totally would have helped me. I probably would have I maybe wouldn't have even had to have like dropped out, honestly, if I'd had more college help on campus.
Now at PSU, she's thankful she found the help she didn't have in the past.
Just being a student in general, there are always barriers that can get in the way of your success in school. And Sparkwheel is all about breaking down those barriers.
Sparkwheel is a new program at Pitt State. The goal is to access students' individual needs, help them set their goals, and check in with them each month.
You have the ability to improve your life through education, and we don't want, the lack of family support or the lack of stable housing to keep you from being able to achieve that degree. Ultimately, we want students to be self-sufficient, so not just doing the work for them, but seeing themselves as effective and empowered at meeting the goals that they have for themselves.
I need help with like career interviews, and I need help with applications. I mean, even just regular job stuff.
The initiative originally serves 35,000 K-12 students in more than 70 schools in Kansas, Missouri, Oklahoma, and Iowa.
This is the first time a university is hosting Sparkwheel. The hope is that other places will replicate the program.
There are barriers for students, and it's not just a Pittsburgh thing. It is happening all over, and getting your degree is a stepping stone to climbing the economic ladder, to having the career that you will find fulfilling.
Besides being grateful, Flasner is also hopeful about what the future has in store.
Sparkwheel will really help me be able to achieve everything that I want to.
In Pittsburgh, Fernanda Silva, KOAM News.
Every public school in the city of Pittsburgh counts on the support of Sparkwheel. Almost 10 students are currently in the program at PSU. The goal is to have 55 by the end of the academic year. Residents in Fort Scott are doing a little cleaning ahead of fall. Today kicked off the city's annual citywide garage sale. Dozens of homes are selling their unwanted items, including furniture, clothes, electronics, and tools. Officials say they hope the sale will bring in lots of visitors.
And our hope is to not only provide locals the opportunity to find some deals, but to bring visitors to town from the region who will also hopefully shop at our restaurants, our local downtown shops and other areas, and fill up their gas tanks at the gas stations.
Most of the sales will continue tomorrow. The Jomo Pride Festival kicked off today with its inaugural Pride Parade. KOAM's Anthony Saviello gives us a look at today's festivities.
For the first time, the LGBTQ+ community in Joplin kick off Pride Fest with a parade. According to Ron Birch, this parade is a significant part of bringing both the LGBTQ+ community and its allies together.
Joplin hasn't seen a gathering, a festival like this in downtown Joplin on Main Street ever. So I mean, it's a really big thing for the city. It's a big thing for us to, have a 100-foot pride flag that's the biggest in the Midwest unveiled during Jomo Pride Fest, especially during all the, the chaos that's been going on legislatively across the country. It's really big to come together and show solidarity with one another and support. So
the parade itself had no shortage of attendance, and no shortage of color either. Colors that are also an important symbol within the community.
Even though we use it, it's a symbol for everyone, inclusivity for everyone, not just the LGBTQ community.
And what better way to display them than with a giant 104-foot flag? According to Birch, Pride Fest is not just for the LGBTQ+ community, and it welcomes all who wish to attend.
So we invite everybody to come out and celebrate, especially our allies, our supporters, because it's not just important for us to have, our gay friends and stuff around us. It's important for us to have people who support us, people who, want to elevate our community's voice and stuff like that around us as well.
Reporting in Joplin, Anthony Saviello, KOAM News.
Events will continue on throughout the weekend. You be sure to visit jomopride.org to learn more. Coming up, as the American population gets older, we'll have tips to promote health while aging. New research finds heart disease deaths linked to obesity took a sharp rise over a 21-year period. Researchers with the American Heart Association say obesity-related heart disease deaths tripled in the U.S. between 1999 and 2020. The scientists examined data from more than 281,000 deaths where obesity played a role. Researchers found that about 43.6% of the deaths were women and African Americans, who made up a majority of obesity-related heart disease deaths compared to other racial groups. Nearly 56 million Americans are 65 and older, according to the National Council on Aging. Staying healthy is critical to independence and good quality of life, but many seniors struggle with everyday challenges. Mandy Gaither has 5 tips to promote health as we get older in honor of Healthy Aging Month.
A long life is a blessing and sometimes a curse.
You can't stop the clock. Your body is going to age.
Dr. Kenneth Consilia with Cleveland Clinic says as the years go by, the changing body allows for more health problems, but there are healthy ways to age. His first tip, get daily exercise. Commit to being active every day, but choose to do something you enjoy.
Commitments to exercise or promises to yourself only become a habit if it's something that you're going to be able to do, that you're going to love doing.
Eating a healthy diet with lots of fruits and veggies and limiting alcohol, processed foods, and red meats is key. Consilia says it's also critical to continue learning.
Reading books, learning new things, learning an instrument, singing, learning a new language, learning a new hobby. These things are all great exercises for your brain.
This can also help with staying social, another boost for your brain. Finally, Consilia says to focus on getting those Z's.
Making sure that we're not watching the TV as we're falling asleep, or that we're trying to get at least 6 to 7 hours of good quality sleep at night, undisturbed. That's very important for your brain health and for your overall physiology.
Doug is next with a complete look at the forecast. And later, Missouri Southern got its first win of the season last night. We'll have the highlights in sports.
Hey, it turned out to be a nice Friday for us today. We did get some showers, some thunderstorms during the morning hours. We definitely need the rain. And then we cleared out and had a really nice afternoon and evening, of course, for high school football. Nice shot. This is Indigo Sky Casino and Resort, of course. Indigo is just outside of Seneca, Missouri. All right, we've been dealing with the smoke over the past couple days, the haziness outside. This is from the Canadian wildfires, but it has let up a little bit for us today, which is good. And watch by Saturday, it kind of shoves off to the west across central Kansas down through Oklahoma. So it's not going to be as hazy as we go into the weekend, plus our air quality is going to be a little bit better. All right, 1/1300ths of an inch of rain officially at the airport in Joplin puts us at 1/4 of an inch for the month. But look at that, almost 11 inches behind where we should be for this time of the year, so we don't need it. All right, showers, thunderstorms roll through during the morning hours. Most of these are out of here by about 10 o'clock this morning. But look at the stripe of heavy rain, southeastern Kansas, all the way down through parts of northwest Arkansas, but pretty good amounts, 1 to 2 inches just north of Fredonia, over toward Parsons, Columbus, right through Seneca, south side of Neosho, right down through McDonald County. Unfortunately, it wasn't a little bit more widespread, but we'll take what we can get. Temperatures pretty good, 69 in Monette, 72 at Grand Lake, 75 in Pittsburgh. Bentonville is sitting at 73. We can go outside. Here's 7th and Rangeline, 74. Visibility has come up as that haze is starting to drop just a little bit. Clear skies outside. Any showers, any thunderstorms that we had earlier, these are down across the southern plains. And if you look out toward the west, not a whole bunch going on. So that's our weather as we go through the next couple days. So the weekend is going to set up a really nice, and then we'll see some rain chances back in. All right, let's step through your weekend. Upper 50s by morning. So it's going to feel pretty good. If you want, you can open up the windows tonight. By noon, we'll be back into lower 80s. Once we get into the afternoon, Most of us 87, 88, very similar to what we did see today. Tomorrow night, back down near 60 once again. And then on Sunday, partly sunny skies, right back up into the upper 80s for highs. So very consistent over the next couple days. We'll go 87 tomorrow, 88 on Sunday. It's warm. It's not hot, but still warm. Tomorrow night's going to be nice. We are going to get some more clouds by the time we head into Sunday, but overall, the weekend looks fantastic. 87, 88. Look at this, 75 for a high on Monday. So we cool down a bit. 78 Tuesday, right around 80 Wednesday and Thursday. So by next week, it's going to feel a little bit more fallish across the region, which, hey, I'm looking forward to.
Me too. It looks good to me. No
Yeah.
complaints here. Thanks, Doug. Coming up, honoring Britain's longest serving monarch.
Remembering the late Queen Elizabeth II 1 year after her death. In London, I'm Alex Hogan. I'll have more on the events taking place across the UK coming up.
You've heard a lot about rising wages in the past few years. Here's something you might not expect: pay cuts. America's largest private employer is lowering pay for new hires who prepare online orders for curbside pickup. The cut is about $1 an hour and does not apply to existing employees. The retailer says it made the change to make starting pay more consistent across jobs. Now, online order preparers will earn wages more similar to what cashiers and stockers make. And the party is back on at Party City. The largest party supply store in the U.S. exited bankruptcy yesterday after a judge signed off on its reorganization plans. Party City filed for bankruptcy in January after struggling to pay off its debt load. The reorganization cancels nearly $1 billion of its debt, and while some of its nearly 800 U.S. stores will close due to the bankruptcy agreement, the company says the majority will stay open. JCPenney CEO Mark Rosen says working families are struggling to get by as inflation is taking a toll. Rosen says that customers are falling behind on their bills, relying more on credit cards and choosing private label brands rather than more expensive national ones. In fact, according to the retail executive, credit card usage has gone up and delinquencies have increased back to where it was before COVID-19. Up next, we'll learn the story of how a 7-year-old found this 3-carat diamond in Arkansas. A 7-year-old girl got a pretty big birthday present when she found a nearly 3-carat diamond. It happened at Crater of Diamonds State Park in Arkansas. The park is well known for being a place where visitors can find diamonds. Of course, most don't, but Aspen Brown happened to catch a glimpse of a pea-sized brown diamond near the park's fence line. Park officials say it was probably unearthed when a contractor dug a trench in August to help manage erosion in the park's 37-acre diamond search area. 30 more minutes of news, weather, and sports coming your way. New polls aren't looking good for President Biden as his approval rating drops among voters ahead of next year's election. Plus, how the British royal family is honoring the late Queen Elizabeth II 1 year after her passing. A new poll shows President Biden needs to shore up support for his re-election bid, with him in a dead heat matchup with former President Donald Trump. Fox News correspondent Rebecca Castor has more from Washington.
Bad news for the Biden White House. A new national poll shows support for the president is dwindling, with his approval rating at 39%. Nearly half of registered voters say that any Republican presidential nominee would be a better choice than Biden in 2024.
It's a real worrisome sign if you're a Democrat.
In hypothetical matchups, the president is neck and neck with most GOP opponents, including Donald Trump. However, Nikki Haley is a notable exception. The poll has the former South Carolina governor beating Biden by 6 points.
There are a lot of Democrats who would tell you that she's probably the candidate they're most scared of. They will also tell you she's probably not going to be the nominee.
Many voters say they're concerned about Biden's age and his ability to serve another full term. The economy is also top of mind.
I think he has the everyday people's best interests in mind. everything has gone up. Electricity, groceries, fuel, housing, everything has gone up.
It's just terrible the way everything's going with it.
But the Biden campaign is fighting back.
Today, inflation is down to 3%.
With new campaign ads focused on easing voters' minds about the economy and his leadership.
That's the quiet strength of a true leader.
A 60-second ad highlighting his high-stakes trip to Ukraine will air in battleground states this weekend. Meanwhile, Trump's legal troubles are gaining him support. The special grand jury in Georgia released its full report today, which revealed dozens of names who were considered but ultimately not indicted, including Senator Lindsey Graham and former Senator David Perdue. In Washington, Rebecca Castor, Fox News.
President Biden is meeting with Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi ahead of the start of the G20 summit in New Delhi. The two leaders are looking to strengthen their ties between their countries. India and the U.S. are also dealing with a common threat, the growing influence of China in the world's economy. The White House is giving a sneak peek inside its new Situation Room. The room is actually a complex more than 5,000 square feet full of secure conference rooms and offices. The facelift cost around $50 million. It's complete with enhanced security and stone from Macquarie in Virginia. The Situation Room was originally created by the Kennedy administration after the Bay of Pigs invasion. It's been 1 year since the world said goodbye to Queen Elizabeth II and her historic reign came to an end. Today, members of the royal family and people across the world are marking the anniversary of Her Majesty's death and honoring her legacy. Fox News correspondent Alex Hogan reports from London.
Gun salutes ringing out across the United Kingdom Friday to mark 1 year since the death of Queen Elizabeth II and King Charles III's accession to the throne. Elizabeth, who became queen at the young age of 25, died at the age of 96. With more than 70 years on the throne, she was Britain's longest reigning monarch.
We recall with great affection her long life, devoted service, and all she meant to so many of us.
King Charles and Queen Camilla attended a private memorial near the family's Balmoral estate in Scotland, a favorite of the late Queen. The Queen's death leaving many questioning the future of the monarchy, but King Charles has had a mostly smooth start to his reign.
I'm deeply grateful, too, for the love and support that has been shown to my wife and myself during this year, as we do our utmost to be of service to you all.
Prince Harry, who was visiting London for the Well Child Awards, also paying tribute to his late grandmother.
I was unable to attend the awards last year as my grandmother passed away. As you also probably know, she would have been the first person to insist that I still come to be with you all instead of going to her. And that's precisely why I know exactly 1 year on that she is looking down on all of us tonight. Happy we're together.
Plans for a permanent memorial for the Queen will be unveiled in 2026 to mark what would have been Her Majesty's 100th birthday. In London, Alex Hogan, Fox News.
A bit later, one film success leading to more projects.
Gran Turismo, the film kind of based on the PlayStation video game, is a winner at the box office. I'm Eamon Dignam in New York, and I spoke to the head of PlayStation Productions about how it all came together.
Well, it turned out to be a pretty good day for us today. At least temperatures were great, and we got a little bit of rain during the morning hours, only about 0.13 of an inch at the Joplin Airport, a 1/4 of an inch for the month, and we're still almost 11 inches behind, but it was better than nothing. So we'll definitely take that. Now, some areas, there was a nice little stripe of some heavier amounts of rain. Look at the showers, look at the thunderstorms that rolled through late last night into the early morning hours. You can see this complex, and the heaviest kind of track just south of Chanute right into northwestern Arkansas. And you can see that stripe of upwards of 2 inches, even 3 inches, right through southeastern Kansas, just south of Chanute. Unfortunately, Chanute, you just missed it. And then right through Parsons, Cherokee County, picked up even more once you got over towards Seneca, south side of Neosho, and then right through the eastern part of McDonald County. If you're outside of that range, you didn't get a whole bunch, but at least a little bit, which is good. All right, 68 in Stockton, Neosho 72, Carthage 73. Pittsburgh 74, Parsons at 70, Miami is sitting at 69, Veneta is at 72. We can go outside here, 7th and Rangeline 74. Humidity is pretty good, dew points at 54 degrees. We'll actually drop back actual temperature into the 50s later on tonight. Clear skies, any showers and thunderstorms from this morning, well to our south, southern parts of Oklahoma, northern parts of Texas. And then if we look out toward the west, there's not a whole bunch going on. So this is pretty much our weather as we head into the weekend. And then eventually this wave will start to affect us early next week. So let's step through the weekend. We drop back upper 50s to near 60 when you get up in the morning, if you're getting up early. By noon, upper 70s to lower 80s. And then we get up to about 87, 88, very similar to what we saw today. Much of the same on Sunday. We drop back upper 50s to near 60, and then we warm up again right about 87, 88, 89 degrees as we go into Sunday afternoon. So tomorrow looks great. Sunday looks great. It's not hot, it's warm. Nice night tomorrow night. A few more clouds on Sunday ahead of that next storm system, which will give us some rain chances on Monday. Plus, I want you to notice the temperatures. We're in the 70s. 4 highs. Even Tuesday, rain kind of skirts to our south. We're in the 70s, 4 highs. Wednesday, much of the same, upper 70s, 4 highs. So we get this nice little stretch of fall-like weather across the region. 87 tomorrow, 88 on Sunday, 75 on Monday with those showers popping up, 78 on Tuesday, even Wednesday and Thursday, right at 80 degrees. And then we kind of heat back up a little bit late next weekend to next weekend, but pretty good stretch. No 90s on that forecast for the next 10 days, which is great.
Beautiful day today.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
It was great. Thanks, Doug. In Pennsylvania, there's a groundhog to tell when winter will end. In Maine, there's a lobster that predicts when winter will begin. Vox's Grace Blanchard has more on Belfast, Maine's Passy Pete.
You may have heard of the famous predicting groundhog Punxsutawney Phil. But have you heard of Passy Pete?
Every Labor Day at 10 a.m., we pull a lobster from Passagassawake River named Pete. He comes back every year.
For the past 9 years, the residents of Belfast have relied on the predictions from Pete, the clairvoyant lobster, to determine if it will be an early winter or if summer will last a little bit longer. Much like Groundhog Day, the ceremony involves Pete choosing a scroll with a prediction that is read to the community by a team of barons and baronesses.
Their whole goal of the Belfast Barons is to bring Passy Pete forward and read the scroll.
Many of the volunteers are local Belfast business owners.
But it's really just a way to have fun and just a way to get a lot of people together and show off beautiful Belfast in the harbor.
Unfortunately, many did not receive the results they were looking for.
Soon skiers will make runs.
We're very sorry to share that he predicted an early winter this year.
But many residents say they were not surprised.
It's cold here in Maine, and you get used to it, and if you wear the right clothes, you'll be fine.
Okay. And it's beautiful.
And I imagine the prediction is always going to be cold.
Organizers say they have big plans for next Labor Day, where Pete will predict his 10th season.
There's a lot to do in Belfast no matter what the weather is, and we're just excited to host this event along with the barons and baronesses.
Coming up in sports, the voice of the Chiefs, Mitch Holthus, breaks down how difficult the odds are to repeat as Super Bowl champions. Plus, highlights from Missouri Southern football's first win at Washburn since the turn of the century. John Dales has those stories and more up next.
It's Friday night once again. That means high school football games are happening across the 4 states, and they're wrapping up as we speak. It also means you get a chance to catch all the highlights and scores from those games right here on Fox 14. Tune in tonight at 11 o'clock to catch myself and Brock Baldridge bringing you through every one of those games. Last night, week 2 of college football in the area got started with both our local schools on the road. Missouri Southern traveled to Washburn after losing in week 1, hoping to knock off the Ichabods for the first time since 2014. Good crowds out in Topeka for the home opener. This one starts in favor of the Lions, though. Akeem Gilbert breaks through for a score. That capped off a 75-yard scoring drive. Bods would respond, though. Kellen Simoncic drives down the field and punches it in. That capped off the first half, and then the defense needs to make a play for Washburn, and it does. They sack Luke Sampson. They go into the break with a 13-7 lead, but Simoncic, their starting quarterback, gets hurt. They turn to the backup freshman, and then they get a burst from DJ Bell, who returns a kick 100 yards for a touchdown. Washburn trailed by 3 at that point. Their defense comes up big again, second sack of the game. Forced to punt again, but the Lions win the final quarter. They end up taking this one 30-23. 3 hours away at Fort Hays State, Pittsburgh State also gets the job done last night. The third-ranked Gorillas improved to 2-0 with a dominant second half. They trailed 14-13 at halftime before scoring the next 27 points and holding the Tigers scoreless in the third and fourth quarters. The Chiefs also began their Super Bowl title defense last night at home. Things did not go according to plan. Detroit comes into Arrowhead Stadium and escapes with a win, but repeating as Super Bowl champs is very, very difficult. Don't believe me? Hear it from the voice of the Chiefs in the first edition of the 2023 Minute with Mitch.
The Chiefs, as reigning Super Bowl champions, open the curtain on the entire NFL season against the Lions. To do it again next year is going to be a tall task. It's been well stated that it's been since the New England Patriots in 2003 and 2004 since there has been a back-to-back Super Bowl champion, the longest streak of no back-to-back champions in Super Bowl history. Further study puts this Chiefs challenge ahead in better perspective. Of the 56 defending Super Bowl champions, 18 didn't even make the playoffs the next year. 14 did return to the Super Bowl, including the Chiefs in Super Bowl 55, but only 8 repeated as champions, and 5 of those 8 did it before 1990. So let's go. Let's give it a shot. Won't be easy to make history on this Minute with Mitch. The Minute with Mitch is brought to you by Como Jewelry. Every day's game day, Como Jewelry, Pittsburgh, Joplin.
That's all for sports. We're back with more news after this.
The film Gran Turismo was a surprise hit for Sony. Now the movie and gaming heavyweight is planning a number of other projects based on video games for the big and small screen. Fox's Eamon Dignam has more in this edition of our Fox on Game series.
Directed by District 9's Neil Blomkamp and starring Orlando Bloom and David Harbour, the film Gran Turismo follows the exploits of a gamer-turned-pro racer, Jan Mardenborough, who got his start playing on the original PlayStation when he was 8 and followed the evolution of the game through each of the next iterations. I spoke to Asad Kizilbash, head of PlayStation Productions, about the film.
We wanted to make the best racing sequences you've ever seen in a film. And so we use some of the best technology and cameras.
Although it hasn't brought in Super Mario Brothers numbers, it's been a big success for PlayStation Productions.
You don't have to love racing, you don't have to love video games, or you don't even have to know Gran Turismo. It's just a feel-good movie.
Asad also gave me a heads up on what Sony is working on for the big screen.
We're working on a fantastic, epic samurai movie. This is going to be just this epic tale, great story based on our hit video game Ghost of Tsushima.
And for streaming networks.
We're working with Netflix to take our great franchise Horizon Zero Dawn as a live action TV show. And we're also doing a God of War TV show with Amazon.
PlayStation Productions also had a hand in the streaming hit The Last of Us and the Uncharted film starring Tom Holland. Check out this story and more every weekend on the Fox on Tech podcast. In New York, Eamon Dignam, Fox News.
Coming up, a husband is going viral for how he let his wife know he won't be available for chores during football season. The NFL season is here, and one husband is getting noticed because he gave his wife notice. He says he won't be available for work on game days. She's scoring with her comeback. And Jan Moose reports.
You think these are hard knocks? Actually, this is a hard knock when your husband hands you a letter and asks you to read it out loud.
However, I must with remorse inform you that I am putting in my 2 weeks notice.
The NFL season was about to come to pass, and Callie Wilson's husband Dan couldn't pass on this joke.
I will no longer be available for work on Sundays, 10 a.m. to 10 p.m., Monday evenings nor Thursday evenings due to conflicting commitments.
Genius, priceless, hilarious, posted football widows and football fans alike. But the Salt Lake City father of two wasn't done, informing his wife that she was infusing IV antibiotics for an infection.
I'll also be available every Saturday.
Kelly chuckled her way through the reading, evidently got a kick out of it. As one poster commented, "At least you will have Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Fridays." Dan informed Callie that the schedule would be in effect till February, March.
Thank you for your understanding.
Callie got offers. So, is the position available? And advice, girl, hire a temp. Instead, she returned his resignation.
Sorry, you can't quit. We're short-staffed.
She whistled that letter. Dead.
That's our time for tonight. Thanks for joining us. We'll leave you with a video of a baby giraffe and its mother at the Brookfield Zoo. Thanks for making us part of your night.